Hi, everyone. I just have to turn my heat down. I'm like feeling the back of my computer and it's a little warm. So I think I better, it's chilly today in LA. So let me take care of And as you can see, we have our festive decorations up just to cheer everyone up. This is my kind of chaos magic, I suppose, is what Michael would call it. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Ooh, I had a coffee somewhere. Now I've lost my coffee. You see how that goes? I'm going to have to go find my coffee. Well, say hi to everybody. Have your coffee. Let's talk. We got a lot to go through. We're getting ready for tomorrow's protest. I'm thinking of filming it live for those people who cannot get out of the house but are with me in spirit. Or you're in another country or whatever. I'm going to go live tomorrow, I think, so that everybody can see the protest in West Hollywood. These are neighborhood protests. If you'd like to find out where your neighborhood protest is calling for impeachment, you can go to moveon.org. Impeach and remove. According to the Fox latest polls, 54% of the American people would like this president to go with God and leave the White House. So yeah, let me grab my coffee, and then we're going to do a lot of blitzes today because I had a lot of requests. So let me just I'm going to need some caffeine. There it is. So the news, my goodness, the news has been crazy. Let's give a moment of gratitude to all 82 of you who have decided to spend this hour with me, 84 now. And Mila is here. You can see the tail in the background. Would you like to say hi? No, there you are. Yes, she's being antisocial. Let's give a warm welcome to everybody. I'm going to start with giving gratitude to Kathy W., one of our moderators extraordinaire. Lori I, hi to you as well. Noel, always reliable, thank you. Paula Ellis, Susan Williamson, hello. Harry's mom is here again, 2008. Ciao tutti to you as well. Barbara Young. Halo Boy is here. Aloha from Hawaii. Lucky you, you're in Hawaii. Grace's Glory. Nancy, hello. Black Swan is here. Sharon Lee. Catherine Fallon is here. Jamie G. Karen Baird. Ooh, hello to you. Sweden, I have not been, but I hope to go there when it's warmer. Karen Hallman, Linda Simmons. Rosie Santos. Paula Ann is in the house. Barbara Young is here. Welcome, welcome, Barbara. Sarah Eschweller. And yes, we are all sensitive people. Naomi Susan Isaacs. And Kathy Mickelson. Lacey Cole. Courtney Ellers is here. Karen Bard. Karen Ward, Brenda Manahan, Rosie Santos, Rosemary Wynn, Jane Pilkington, I'm sorry. I think we should get to vote instead of the Senate. Yes, a lot of people feel that way. Catherine the Elder, oh yes, another lady perhaps rocking the gray hair. All right. Megan Moore, we'll continue to say hi to everybody, but I want to get started because we did start a little bit late. And the first thing I want to do, because I took like a 5-mile hike yesterday around the city. I was wearing my mala beads, which unfortunately broke because Mila has decided that the mala beads look an awful lot like a snake. So she's destroyed a lot of my chanting beads, a lot of my malas, God bless her. She has found a purpose for them. Anyway, I was taking a walk in West Hollywood. I walked all the way to the Beverly Center and back. It was awesome. And I just wanted to, I really felt in my heart I needed to say this, and that is that I want to apologize to everyone for the last live chat we did, and I want to just humbly apologize. And specifically, I want to apologize to the heckler who came on, because this is not our way. We don't attack people. We don't. It's not my way to create more pain. It was a Saturday. The person that heckled, or the troll, if you want to call it, I sat and meditated and did a heart-centered remote on this person, and I realized that they were alone on a Saturday and were in a lot of pain. And you don't wind up behaving like that, attacking complete strangers on a Saturday, unless you're in a lot of pain and you've been in a lot of pain for a long time. And so the purpose of this channel is to get myself straight and to hopefully help us all get straight. And I think kindness, love, saving the planet, saving ourselves, being kind to one another, nothing else matters. That's the bottom line. Living below our means, living humbly, taking care of the earth, taking care of each other. So I didn't live up to my standards. You know, my standards are to be kind. If someone's cruel or abusive, I understand you have to remove certain people from your life. I have been on both sides of that. And so I just want to apologize to the community if I said anything that hurt anybody, because I'm only human and I make mistakes. And this person was in pain. And while I understand we need to remove trolls if they're attacking or harming people, that doesn't mean we shouldn't have love and compassion for them. Yeah, Michelle Taylor's here. Oh, good. I'm glad she's here. Let's just go ahead and remove the trolls and recognize that when people do those sorts of things, it's because they're in a lot of pain. And if you sit and meditate and you do a heart-centered remote and you really try to get into the energy of someone like that, you realize that you have to be in a lot of pain to do something like that. So, and it really has nothing to do with us, and it had nothing to do with me. But caring about the fact that people are in pain does have something to do with me. Also, saying things about the other person's body as if I care, because I really don't care what kind of body you happen to be in. It doesn't determine whether or not you're capable of being a loving human being who deserves to be loved and respected. And I didn't live up to my standards, so please forgive me. I'm sorry. And I will try to do better next time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do blitzes today. I am here for an hour, and anything you guys want to talk about, we can go ahead and do. But the first thing I want to do is we're going to do the group, the collective, right? Thanks, Los Angeles. So let's do a prayer together where we can all come together as a collective. We're to hold the highest vision for the planet, for one another for 2020. We're getting close. I have not sent out my holiday cards, but I am going to be working on it. Oh, thank you, Courtney Ellers. 10 tree babies. Just to let people know, we are donating to AmericanForest.org. They don't just plant trees, they also do forest management. I found out about AmericanForest.org through Al Gore, Vice President Al Gore. It's a charity that he endorses because it has good stewardship And so that, and they're doing a match program. I think the World Wildlife Fund is also doing a match program, as is ACLU. We do have about 10 consistent charities that we give to every month that we, the community, have chosen, and I think a lot of them are matching this month. So that means that our dollars are going to go further. All right, let's do a simple prayer. I want to call on white light protection for myself and the community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves, for the people we love, for our families, for the planet, and to help support and love even those we have strife with. And let us say Amen. All right, let's go in. I think my prayer is evolving. What do we need to hear for the coming week? What do we need to hear for the coming week? What do people need to do to be empowered? There's been some great readers on YouTube. I've been watching all the readers. Dang, I'm having a great time. There's some awesome readers out there. All right, where we are collectively, the Ace of Cups comes. Ace of Cups is a love card. The W I always think of as wedding. It's the wedding cup. It can indicate that there are messages of births, weddings. It's kind of like my Mazel Tov card. So an energy is moving in. I have seen that this new energy that's moving in for 2020 is actually not violent. When I think about protest, these are not a violent protest. It's more a kind of a feeling of a celebration and an offer for peace and really coming together as a community. I love this energy, the wedding cup, because the cup overfloweth, you can see. And also water is healing. Water is, if you look historically at various different types of writings, spiritual writings, people will often talk about water. Water was also traditionally used as a form of therapy, drinking water, fasting, bathing in water. And also the symbolism of rains coming in their proper season, which is a prayer we say in the Jewish tradition. Thank you, Anna. You had a lot of tree babies, 30 tree babies. So this is a feeling of raining blessings onto the community or the group. The second card, I always pull two bases. That's my own quirk. You don't have to if you're a reader. The base of the matter is how I read the bottom of the deck. And I choose two because I want to find out what the first is associated with. So I personally pick two. Six of Swords is also moving in. That's to come out of a rocky situation and move towards one of stability. It's an interesting card. You can see rocky waters here, but smoother waters moving forward. And so collectively together, there's a feeling of goodwill, love, harmony, blessings from spirit, and a desire to move towards something that is positive. Where we are at right now, at the world. It's, this is a nice energy in the sense that we think of the world as thinking not just about ourselves. It's a less of a self-serving feeling and more of an energy of coming into the collective or working together as a group, being mindful of the bigger picture. This is something that has been coming up for me a lot, and it's been coming up, I think, for a lot of readers and a lot of people in the community, which is that it kind of goes back to that Jules song, kindness is all that matters, making the world a better place for everybody, being inclusive. It's thinking in terms of the world In terms of the major arcanas, a lot of people feel that the world card is that kind of, what was I saying? I can't remember. But the world card is considered the most positive card in the major arcana. Trying to read, I think Paris Hilton needs to be blocked. And then Six of Wands comes in, which is a success card. It's also, if you're reading Wands as, I'm sorry, did we block this person yet? I'm sorry, but I don't know how you block this person, but okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I hate to have to do that. Okay, sorry, but we had a little bit of a problem. All right. So Six of Wands is a success card. It's going into battle victoriously. And because I read Wands as month cards, this would say that as a group, we're actually heading towards a pretty positive place in our lives. I like the fact that it's attached to the world card because it also means an expansion of just expanding outward and connecting to the world as a whole. What is above us collectively is heartbreak, Three of Swords. This is something that I think a lot of empaths and sensitives have been picking up on, and it's because the nation is not unified. I think now is the time to sit down and have a respectful meal with people you may not always agree with, and really try and see into the other person's perspective on things. Because Three of Swords is a feeling like heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal. The fact that it's in the fourth house would suggest that it's something that hovers above us and could theoretically become worse, because what we think about, what we collectively think about, is also what we could theoretically also create. What sits in the fourth house is many choices. Many choices. It also has to do with confusion, not knowing what direction to go in. Because I read cards that oppose one another as action, reaction, it could be a feeling that that part of the heartbreak is because of a feeling of indecision, not knowing what tomorrow will bring, not knowing what the right choice is. But you can see here we're having a lot of cup cards, which are associated with health and healing. Pages cannot be messengers, but they can also be angels. The Hebrew word for angels, malachim, and messengers is the same word, and it denotes messages from spirit or insights from spirit. And cups, again, are a healing energy. Water is healing. And you can see here some kind of truth or awareness or knowledge is coming out. I think probably that we're going to have more disclosures coming out regarding corruption in this administration. I think also that there may be some more documents released and possibly more indictments. High Priestess opens the eyes and gives us clarity regarding things that may seem confused or hidden. Because the sixth house has an Eight of Cups, confusion or a feeling of not knowing what choice to make, and because a heartbreak is coming in, and the card it's associated with in the near future is an opening of the eyes, awareness, leads me to suspect that new information is going to be coming out that is going to help clarify where people are headed. The King of Wands, as I've talked about in the past, is also Yehuda, the head of the tribe who holds the staff of authority. You can see the Lion of Judah is the symbol in the background. This is the person who finds themselves in a position of leadership and with a sound mind must make the right decisions. And what is around us? Four of Swords. We may find that a lot of people are not making immediate decisions about a lot of things because Four of Swords is to be still. We've talked about this. It's to be as samadhi, or a state of meditation, mindfulness. This is a really, you know, when I look at this card chart, it makes me think that things are very somber right now. The hope and the fear for us, Magician, a feeling that we want to gain control over a situation we may have felt confused or heartbroken about. Clarity and personal power seem to be the main issues here. I also like the fact that the High Priestess and the Magician I think of as the yin and yang of balanced power with power that comes from knowledge, basically. I want to give some thank yous to the donations here today. Jamie G has donated $20 to charity. Thank you, Jamie G. That'll be donated to AmericanForest.org this month, or one of the other charities that we've selected for the month. If you don't tell me it's going to trees. Charity of your choice, Jane F. Thank you very much. We're also doing Southern Poverty Law Center, ACLU, Racist, and we like to do a water charity and animal rights charities as well. Our book of the month was suggested by Paul Simon. Yes, we're wearing our Paul Simon t-shirt. He did the audio for our book of the month, which is The Life You Can Save by Peter Singer. You can get it free on his website, and you can also listen to the audio. You can also get a hard copy on Amazon. And the final outcome for us, the Sun. So you can see there's a lot of major arcanas here. The High Priestess, the truth or the opening of the eyes, being in a state of sound judgment, not responding emotionally, but thinking about what is the best decision, standing in our power, recognizing that we do have power, recognize that we do have responsibility, that we are part of, we collectively make the choices of what tomorrow will bring. And we do so with the somber maturity of Judah. He comes with a somber, he takes responsibility, he's in a position of power, and he makes his choices from a place of, he holds the staff of authority. And again, the Four of Swords around us, to be still, to be thoughtful. And again, the Magician in the 9th house coming into power. And again, the hopes and fears to regain our power or take personal responsibility. The Sun would suggest that, again, more information is going to be coming out. Remember when we did a remote and it felt like NATO was going to be flexing their muscles a little bit in the coming months, and that the charity of which, okay, sorry. That NATO was going to be flexing their muscles a little bit, and that the truth was going to be coming out about some stuff that had been hidden. Particularly, we got a hit about British intelligence and just a feeling that intelligence agencies had been very subdued the last couple of years, collecting data. We've seen a lot of arrests, Julian Assange, etc. Some high-profile arrest, high-profile persons being charged. That seems to be, the scales are lifting from the eyes. That's the best way for me to interpret this. We begin the work. You can see the clarification here. 4 more cards clarifies. We begin the work. The other in relationship to us defends their territory. The hopes and fears. We don't want to be in a state of violence or conflict. We can agree to disagree, but we really want to avoid this back and forth violence between two groups. Don't engage because it only escalates. We can certainly remove ourselves from someone who's abusive or toxic, but you don't want to continue to accelerate it. The final outcome, Chariot, is to move on. All right, so that is the collective. So I think a lot of us are just getting really clear about what our priorities are. It's a somber time for the country, but I think it's also a time when, it's interesting. Christmas, Yule, Hanukkah, whatever tradition you have, the themes are consistent, and that is this idea of the light is coming, the truth is coming out, our priorities are getting straight, love, compassion, sacrifice, and I think it's going to have an interesting effect on where the nation goes forward in the coming weeks and months. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do a blitz. I had a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and the first one that people Noel wants us to check on Barr. Okay. I also had Mitch McConnell. People really want me to look at Mitch McConnell and how he will handle the Senate. I'm going to do that first. Okay, so we're going to go in now, and we're going to just do as many blitzes as we can. Mitch McConnell. Somebody had said to me recently, can you make the blitzes go longer? Because you didn't get to enough of them. It's like, people told me that an hour was too long. Okay, what's going on with Mitch McConnell, and how will he handle the impeachment in the Senate? How will Mitch McConnell handle the impeachment in the Senate? He's a good poker player. You know, you go into this energy and there's only one thing that he cares about, and that's the courts. And every decision he makes, he thinks about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture for him is securing that the courts will be strong the next 20, 30 years, choosing young conservatives to take up the courts. He sees the bigger picture. What do I need to do to ensure that the courts will be solidly conservative? That is what Mitch McConnell cares about. And so any choice or action he makes, he will sit and he will objectively look at the current situation, and he will make that decision. Where he's at right now, very stressed about a decision he has to make and whether or not he should cut cords with this administration. You can see a page of swords moving in. Archangel Michael is how I see this particular messenger, who comes with the sword, and it's also the spies card. But I often will read the page of swords as to cut cords, and I read it as Archangel Michael has a military aspect to it. It's where you it's the spiritual need to sever or to cut cords or to be protected energetically from something that may be perceived of as a threat. Trying to heal a situation. Again, Hermes comes in, the elixir, to heal a situation that may be fragmented or broken. Gives an offer. And what crosses it, the opening of the eyes. It looks to me like, again, a lot of information is going to be coming out in the coming days, and it's going to force Mitch McConnell to have to make serious decisions that could theoretically cost him to sever his current relationships. What is above? Is everybody seeing this okay? Smoother waters, trying to smooth out the waters, and what he sits in, 6 of Pentacles, which is a giving card. It has to do with the benefactor. I think he's entering into a state of confusion where he doesn't necessarily know what to do going forward, because some kind of information is going to be coming out that puts him in a position where he may have to make choices he doesn't want to make. There's a movement card here. Something about additional documents coming forward. Yeah, you can see again the same outcome. The sun is coming out. A lot of stuff's going to get dumped. A lot of stuff's going to get dumped. And Mitch MCConnell is going to have, the King of Wands moving in. Look at that, still in the 7th house. A judgment has to be made, a sound judgment. The other defending themselves, the hopes and the fears. Trying to shut down or suppress, perhaps, information coming out. Trying to sit on the information, the 4 of Swords with the sun coming out, could be his reaction. He's going to try and suppress or subdue whatever's going to be coming out. I don't think he's going to succeed, though, because the hits keep coming. He may have to come to the painful decision that he needs to remove this president. Somebody had asked also if I could look at Mike Pence. We can do that, but we'll look at Barr next. Hello, Elizabeth and Marie Martel. Ooh, let me get a sip of my coffee here. Ooh, white power. Eesh. Well, there's sickies everywhere. All right. Let's look at Barr's cards. He's very hard to remote view. What is going on with William Barr in the coming weeks? What is going on with William Barr in the coming weeks? One of the things I get when I go into William Barr's energy is this kind of passive-aggressive, 200-pound baby that doesn't want to be picked up. Passive-aggressive way that he answers questions. And I'm really feeling the rift in the Justice Department. There's a feeling of him doublespeak, passive aggression, twisting the facts, apathy, boredom, his behavior is causing not only a major rift in the Justice Department, but red flags, and people within the Justice Department seem to be reporting him. I think we're going to see people in the Justice Department filing complaints and whistleblowing on Barr. That's the best way to describe this energy. Where he's at right now, doing deals. You can see here the Lover's card moving in the 2 of Cups. Sacred contracts and deals, offers, etc. But Lovers can often be an infidelity card. It could be somebody who is working both sides of a system or trying to have 2 relationships at the same time. He has 1 commitment, which is the solid commitment, the primary relationship, the 2 of Cups, but the Lover's card indicates that this person has someone on the side. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of politics, it could be someone that's trying to placate 2 sides of an argument. The World card, he's on the world stage, scholarship. Yeah, I think that I know that there was some evidence that he was working to get information to exonerate the president, that he was talking with Italy, etc. There's a scholarship card here, which is the Hermit card, which is to investigate, to seek knowledge. It's also a February card for me. He walks in the snow in cloth shoes, the time when the land is frozen, and so we can't work the land because the land is too hard. So instead, we would hunker down, sew ourselves up in our clothing. It's not like you could wash clothing because it was too cold to dry the clothing. So you would have to wear the same clothing for months, and you would just hunker down with, and you would basically fix your tools and read your books if you could read. And that was basically what the winters were about. But so something about a world connection here and seeking knowledge or information. He's in a victory stance with Six of Wands in the third house, and the fourth house. Again, we see this King of Wands. This is an energy that everybody seems to be heading towards. It's this energy of leadership, responsibility, mindfulness, clear-headedness, leading to a place of victory. This concerns me. We've talked about this card in the past. It's a card that has to do with a juggling coin. It's the trickster's card. It's the con artist that hides the pea under the walnut shell and juggles it, and then you wind up being conned out of your money because he's pocketed the pea. That kind of energy, the juggler, the trickster. This is somebody who could be gaslighting or tricking or trying to, in the past, deceive somebody, deliberately confuse, word salad. And the near future, death. Something happens or changes in the near future that transforms the situation, but specifically transforms the situation in relationship to some confusion that the person may have been involved with. Where is that right now? He gets his wish regarding some kind of standoff with Nancy Pelosi. He feels that he is getting what he wants and he's in a position of power, and that if this is Pelosi's card or if this is a justice card, I read it as Pelosi's card, he may feel that he is at an advantage to her. The hope and the fear. This is a card I often will see with William Barr. It's the Four of Cups, the boy that sits and doesn't want to do anything, and you can't make him take it. You can't make him take the offer. You can't make him do anything. The final outcome for Barr is a judgment or a decision will be made. Let's clarify. He's hooked with the devil, or to be in a codependent relationship that he can't get out of. It's interesting. It's also associated with the Lover's card. So it's as if he has a lover that may be a codependent relationship. But then we have this new sacred contract pushing through. This almost feels to me like it's becoming a burden. It almost feels to me when you go into this energy like now he feels chained by this relationship to some extent. He got himself into a relationship that now makes him feel chained. Over Nancy Pelosi, exchange of ideas, constructing a community from people who have differing ideas, reaching out to, say, independents or even Republicans, just because we don't want a civil war, being kind to one another, even though we may not see the world the same way. The hope and the fear, again, power, gaining control over. You can see the cards. Everybody is kind of experiencing some of the same energy, coming into power, having some control over the situation. But I'll tell you, I'm surprised by that devil in his seventh house. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much. Thank you for the $20 donation. Yay! And Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to you as well. And then again, we see the final outcome that again, some kind of information is going to be coming out. This keeps repeating itself, that he will not be able to suppress, and it will lead to I don't think we can stop this train. You know, it's interesting. I did the video about the worst case scenario because I was trying to prepare myself, like what's the worst possible scenario and how can we divert it? But to be honest with you, with cards like this, it's like so much truth is going to be dumped out that and he's going to start seeing his connection with this president as if it's not worth it anymore. Like, how do I get myself out of this mess? It was one thing to be passive aggressive and play little games that started creating tension in the Justice Department. But now it's gotten to a point where people are leaving the Justice Department and they're whistleblowing and they're filing complaints. And the Democrats are the ones that are getting organized. We're being kind. We're being organized. We're building a common coalition. You don't have to be a Democrat to respect the Constitution and the ideals that the country was built on. And turning this away from a partisan attack against this president towards really what kind of a nation do we want to live in, and is the president above the law? So I think that that's where Nancy Pelosi is at. She's at a place of trying to bring the country together so we can avoid civil war. And that's something she's preparing us for, because a lot of stuff's going to be dumped. And I think that the intelligence agencies are ready to show their hand, not just here in the United States, but in, I think Britain's going to play a huge part in that. That's what I see. I don't think that they can stop the train. If any other readers have a different way of interpreting this, but dang, that's how I would read those cards. All right, so people had asked how will, very likely that Mike Pence will be the 46th president if Trump is forced to resign in exchange for being acquitted in the Senate. If that's the direction we go in. If 54% of the American people want him impeached and rising, does that bode well for the future of the Republican Party? Probably not. But if you think he got a raw deal, you could theoretically acquit him in exchange for him stepping down, and then you could have a Pence presidency. Is that the best decision for Mitch MCConnell? Would that explain the vision that a lot of readers had? Maybe. Or is Mike Pence going to have to go as well? Okay, let's go in and see how Mike Pence is doing. What's in the British report on Russian interference? Oh, there's a British report? That's probably what I'm seeing, but it's going to be more than that. They're actually going to be speaking, and there's a huge movement of the Brits coming in. What is going to be with the future of Mike Pence, and is he going to be the 46th president? Huh, interesting. So I'm hearing them say that when the numbers drop in Florida, it's over. So he's now even in Florida, Trump is. When his numbers start to drop in Florida, they're saying at that point, once they can't come back from that, that's probably going to be the end. Star card moving in and karma. It's interesting, when you go into Mike Pence's energy, he really thinks that God chose him, that he was chosen by Jesus to be president, the karma card and the star or the anointing. Who knows? This is his worldview. where he is at right now. Again, the same as Barr, the world stage, connecting with the world stage, information. It's as if the entire, it's like the person, it's the person who has the dream where they're naked and the whole world can see them naked. That's how this energy feels. It's as if Britain shows no mercy, the intelligence agencies show no mercy, and they just let everything out, and the whole entire world knows. That's the best way to describe this energy. And again, Hermes. So it's information coming out that's theoretically going to heal the planet, but we could see a brief Pence presidency from this. Looks like he's going to be doing some traveling. He's traveling, he's communicating with people, he's trying to build some kind of relationship with other people. A lot of the energy I'm feeling in DC is about collaboration, about putting an end to fighting, about peace, love, harmony. It's about unifying the country. This is something that comes up a lot with Pence, that if Pence takes the presidency, even if it's only for 6 months, he is going to have to be the great unifier. The country is going to have to come together and heal. That seems to be the energy. In plain words, the writing is on the wall for this president. His numbers are dropping. Impeachment requests are rising. 1 million people are going to take to the streets tomorrow night. And if you add on to that, this expose, all of this stuff that's coming out, it will be impossible for Barr to continue to play this juggling act. And so from Pence's perspective, being the president, there's a celebration card. Pence has great cards because he believes that this was his destiny. What is around him, others working hard, discipline, mastery, the hope and the fear, the Ace of Cups, the offer from God, right? And then the final outcome, he walks away from a battle he cannot win. So if he becomes the president, it's a temporary presidency. It might be somebody who is like a stand-in president, but he won't necessarily. I don't see this person being. I don't see him being elected president. You can see a 5 of Swords moving in. The clarification, the Tower comes in for him, putting the past behind him. It's had a very hard effect on his marriage, by the way. Dual loyalties, the Lover's card, and then the final outcome, waiting for his ship to come in. Some truth is. Everybody that worked with this president to some extent felt that they sold their soul, that they compromised their values to some extent. And unfortunately for Mike Pence, he has had to face his own weaknesses, his own temptations, lying, saying things he shouldn't have said, promising things he shouldn't have, et cetera, et cetera. I think he could come in for a very short amount of time, like I said, but leave, and he will not be elected. I don't see him as I don't see the 46th president being elected in 2020. So if he does go in, he doesn't stay. Okay, we have time for a couple more blitzes. People had asked about Nancy Pelosi. I didn't get to her last time, so we're going to go in and take a quick look at Nancy Pelosi. Okay, there's a question here from Michelle. Will these judges with no experience and huge bias that the GOP has confirmed be impeached or removed when they take power? Okay, we can look at the judges, but I just want to look at Nancy Pelosi's energy because it looked really like did you see how she was coming into that power position in the cards? Is this not interesting? I really want to look at Europe too. Okay, what's going on with Nancy Pelosi? What's going on with Nancy Pelosi? And then I want to look at Europe. What is going on with Nancy Pelosi? How is she doing? I'm going fast so we can get through everything. She offers something to walk away from a battle that can't be won. In plainer words, This is a feeling I have when I sit in her energy of grace. This is not not somebody who is rubbing the win in people's face. Ha ha, I won. It's not the cruel person who wins and says, nah, 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 I'm better than you are. It's not that kind of energy at all. The Knight of Cups is to give an offer. It's compassion. It's grace. It's somebody who comes in and says, I'm sorry, Mr. President, but you're going to have to resign. But does it in a very compassionate way with respect for the office of the presidency. That's something I keep seeing over and over and over again. She's really also looking at the money. There really is strong evidence that the finances have been, she's harvesting the coin. She heads the coin. The Congress controls the money. She's watching the coin, harvesting the coin. Something's going on with the money, truth coming out about the money. This is something I keep seeing with her. What is above? There she is, the Queen of Wands, the Yehudit card, right? With the Lion of Judah as a symbol in the background, again, the leader of the tribe. She's one of the most powerful women in the world, and you can see her again, the World card. She's communicating with the world regarding money, exposure about money, harvesting of money. She's offering healing. This is somebody who is praying for the president. This is not a violent energy. This is somebody who is coming in and trying to push this forward, but do it in a way where it's nonviolent, because there's a real concern here with these types of cards that we're trying to avoid civil war. And putting the hate rhetoric, stop with the hate rhetoric and us versus them. It's not real. And it's something we have to dissipate. This is a real desire to dissipate the us versus them, and a real desire. We have a lot of people in this country that are very passionately in support of this president. We have a lot of guns in this country. We have a lot of angry people in this country. This is an energy of trying to bring the nation together, offer healing, and do it in a way which is somber, responsible, to avoid potential problems going forward. And we see this scholarship. I think it's inevitable. Yeah, I think it's inevitable. The military is going to get involved in something, by the way, part of this expose. It's inevitable that they have evidence that the president is going to have to resign. I think they have additional stuff coming out on the president. I don't think that she can possibly change her mind. I think her mind is made up. But this is really about trying to unify. Yeah, Ace of Wands moving in. This is about somebody who's really trying to unify the nation, move the nation forward. Concern about violence. And you can see here also anger, violence, military action. This could also be concern that martial law would be declared, or some kind of military action would have to step in the event of potential violence. She's trying to avoid civil unrest. She's trying to avoid the police, the National Guard coming in to certain areas, which theoretically could start happening relatively soon because of this massive million-person protest that's happening tomorrow night. She's trying to keep this from becoming a potentially violent situation. All right, I want to look at Europe. So we're going to go ahead and look at the energy over Europe. Is everybody having fun? Ah, my eye itches. Ah. We're getting a lot done. What is going on with Europe? And specifically, I want to look at England and where England's headed. Oh, sorry, Great Britain. My apologies. Where Great Britain is headed in the coming weeks and months. Let's look at Europe. This is so civilized. I go into this energy and it feels so intellectual. These conversations are intellectual and they're talking about the monetary system and they're not screaming and yelling like the Americans are. Exchange of ideas, and you can see the Nine of Pentacles there, harvesting their number one concern is to have as little disruption in the economy as possible. Nine of Pentacles is to denote like your 401k, your harvest, your finances. Five of Wands, like I said, is exchange of ideas. It's a broad coalition. It's people that don't necessarily agree, but they can be polite with one another. They're together constructing something. The world, first house, the world stage. This is a frugality card and self-examination card. So there's a concern that the global economy could be affected by the unrest. They're talking a lot about how to transition Europe and Great Britain in a way which is not going to lead to austerity, frugality, holding the coin, fear. This is like almost a Dickensian type of energy where Christmas is coming and we won't be able to have a Christmas goose this year. It's a real fear of the Four of Pentacles about holding the coin. But I also read it as a Buddha card where people are examining themselves. There's a self-examination aspect to the card. Ten of Cups is moving in. So you can see this loving energy, maybe because of the season, but it's actually a loving, nurturing desire for people to come together, even who don't necessarily agree. And Ten of Cups is about the family, the home, the hearth. Five of Swords is to walk away from a battle that you can't win. It could be that people feel that they can't get all of what they want, but collectively by working together and talking about our grievances, instead of us versus them, let's come together with our common humanity and what is the best decision for everyone so that we can create the kind of a world that we want for ourselves and our families. And that can't happen as long as we vilify the other. That seems to be where we're headed. Grief in the past, and then the new perspective is it's all about creating financial stability in Europe, not wanting a crash, working together, compromising, not vilifying the other, listening to the other, agreeing to disagree, talking about our common vision for the world. Where we're at right now, tied in knots. I still feel like Brexit can't happen. It's that Great Britain really put themselves in a situation that they can't get out of. And again, we see poverty cards. This is really Dickensian. Look at the imagery. Poverty, sickness, no health insurance. It's not healthy to be walking out in the snow when you've got a broken foot, right? So this is a real fear of that one has tied themselves in a situation which could be financially detrimental for Europe. Hopes and fears that they've been conned, the juggler who juggles the coin, and then the final outcome, the Ace of Pentacles, which is a wealth card, financial stability. We are going to have to come together and come up with agreements. We may not get all of what we want, but we collectively can come and agree. We agree on a lot of stuff, and that seems to be where we're headed if we want to avoid economic crash. Justice is coming in also, which would suggest that there are some legal problems. We've talked about this in the past, implementing Brexit. All right, let's keep going. We've got time for one more throw. And that is the future of the judges in the United States. What is the future of the judges? It's the future of the the courts and the judges. Four of Wands moving in with a Nine of Cups. The situation changes in the spring. I keep getting that. And again, the first house, the World card keeps coming. Look to the world stage. How do we avoid war? How do we avoid civil unrest? How do we come together to recognize our common humanity and our common goals in order to avoid potentially civil unrest, global unrest? This is a real feeling that people do not want to go to war. Austerity card. I think that they'll get a lot of judges in. I think that it will start they'll start seeing a decrease in the number of judges they can get in. Something happens by spring of 2020, but they got a lot of what they wanted. The Juggler's card, the Poverty card, stress. But their time is running out. Mitch MCConnell is a good poker player. He recognizes that he's going to only have a limited amount of time and power in order to do this. Something appears to happen that puts the brakes on it by spring. And there's a theft card here, a feeling that one has taken positions that they did not earn. And then it will come to an end, the Page of Swords with the Wheel of Fortune moving in. In plain words, he's going to get a lot of judges in, but some judges will be removed, some will be unfit, and it will probably rebalance. It'll begin to rebalance itself by April 2020. Just because then we move into balance, harmony, trying to avoid war. And then some of those extreme judges get removed or step down, either due to alcoholism. I'm seeing alcoholism problems, social problems, etc. Some of them are going to be removed. And then things start to balance out in April of 2020. And then we start seeing the moderates coming in. That's how the energy feels. I wanted to close today by telling you that I did a remote last night. How do we win in 2020? And it goes back to the worst case scenario video, which I got so many people telling me they didn't like it. I think it's a good idea to do those types of exercises. But anyway, the way to win is to get really excited about the future. Country that we're building. So that is basically what the meditation was about. To be excited about the candidate, to begin to visualize the great things that candidate is going to do for everyone in the country, to begin to have a solid plan, and to really get behind the Democratic candidate with a positive view towards the future. That just disliking this president is not going to be enough to win, for the Democrats to win. We have to be able to present a vision of the future that we are enthusiastic and excited about, that is inclusive and is based on compassion and goodwill for the country. And if we can enthusiastically do that from a place of compassion and unity, then we will take the presidency in the Senate and the House. All right. Thank you, everyone. We went as fast as we could. People always get disappointed and say, "But you didn't get to this." I go as fast as I can. Thanks for the support, everyone, and thanks to everybody who donated today to our charities. We donate on the 21st So I will let you know then how much we raised. And yeah, thanks for your support, everyone. Love and light. And we'll see you next time. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, I do phone readings, tarotwithwhimsy.com. The information's below. If you're in the LA area, I'd love to meet you. You can come into the offices. I'm also a naturopathic doctor if you are looking for help from a naturopathic doctor. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.